Good Sunday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. We're going to give you an update on Typhoon Mawar across the western Pacific Ocean as the potential impacts are for northern Philippines and Taiwan as we go over the next couple of days. And then a major heat wave sparks big storms closer to home with more severe weather for the Great Plains over the next few days. And then we'll look ahead to the long range forecast, which does include your Father's Day weekend for 2023. We'll get into those details and much more later on in today's video. But first up, we're looking at Typhoon Mawar across the western Pacific Ocean, and this is the infrared satellite imagery, and it's very healthy. The eye is not there like it was a couple of days ago. It has weakened somewhat, but very classic signature look here across the western Pacific Ocean. Definitely still what we call a hurricane, but it's called a typhoon across the western Pacific. And look at these significant wave heights today across these areas. We're up over 30-foot waves just to the north and east of the Philippines and Taiwan. So definitely talking about some big time waves just off the coast there of Eastern Asia. So that is definitely a concern. But the system will be tracking its way to the west northwest over the next couple of days before turning more northward as we go into early and middle portion of next week towards that Tuesday and Wednesday time frame. And then eventually it will be moving toward Japan, probably just east of Japan as we get towards next weekend. And again, the GEFS ensemble tracks does support this system remaining fairly strong over the next several days and then taking that boomerang hook turn just to the right here of Japan as we go here in towards next week, and especially next weekend. I don't think it affects Japan too much. I think it'll be just to your east, but definitely some waves just off the coast of Japan there towards next weekend. Closer to home, a very busy day. Another busy day for severe weather is in the books for your Saturday, May 27th. We had 7 reported tornadoes all up and down the western high plains here from southeastern Wyoming through Colorado, eastern New Mexico, and down into far west Texas. We had 13 wind reports, 28 hail reports for a total of 48 severe weather reports from your Saturday. And here we go again, more severe storms. We have a slight risk here across the central and southern plains. This is into western Kansas, southeastern Colorado, getting into the western Texas panhandle here, the western Oklahoma panhandle. That's the area of concern. That's a level 2 out of 5 on the scale, but we do have that marginal risk in the dark green that extends up into western and central portions of South Dakota and Nebraska, and also a little bit further south here into West Texas yet again today. But the maximized tornado potential will be across western Kansas, southeastern Colorado, getting into the northern Texas panhandle, western Oklahoma panhandle later on today. So let's track this much of the same as we go over the past several days. We've had a lot of precipitation and we continue to see that. Again, this morning we're not going to be seeing much of that. A storm or two, just like we've seen the past few days, is possible, but then toward the noontime frame and thereafter, we will start to heat the atmosphere up and we'll have scattered storms. Not everybody will see these storms, but if you get under one of these storm cells, they could produce some large hail, some damaging winds over 60 miles per hour, and also a couple of tornadoes, especially in those areas I did highlight across the central and southern plains. And then looking here toward the midnight time frame, we do still see the storms going strong right straight through the evening toward midnight and then starting to fall apart just before sunrise on your Monday Memorial Day morning at 6 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Maybe just a couple of showers or a small little complex of some thunderstorms down here toward the Oklahoma City area, Lawton, Fort Sill, maybe as far south and west as the Red River there into North Texas toward the Wichita Falls region on your Monday morning. And then here for Monday Memorial Day, we have the marginal risk for severe storms again across southern North Dakota, getting into South Dakota, western Nebraska, down here into northeast Kansas, and extreme northwestern portions, or extreme northwestern Kansas, northeastern Colorado, rather, as we go into your Memorial Day. And again, this is peak time, daytime heating. We're definitely seeing the storms billowing up more into the afternoon hours. So if you're grilling out, just have your radar app handy. We could be talking about a couple of storms. Definitely not an all-day washout for anyone across the Great Plains, but just be ready to move indoors if you do have a thunderstorm threatening your area in toward the later afternoon or early evening hours on your Memorial Day. And then going into Tuesday, the severe weather doesn't move too much. It moves a little bit further to the east across western Minnesota, getting into the eastern Dakotas, down through central portions of Nebraska, western Kansas, and then as far south and west here as Colorado and the western Oklahoma panhandle. Again, large hail, damaging winds, and a tornado or two will be possible as we get into Tuesday. The rainfall amounts will be beneficial no matter how you slice it. You see severe weather, you don't see severe weather. The heavy rainfall threat will be there with any storm that does pop up here across the Great Plains from the Dakotas down through Nebraska, Kansas, getting into Oklahoma, and especially West Texas, seeing some decent rains down here toward the Lubbock region and toward the Fort Stockton area, Midland, Texas, Abilene. Those areas could be getting in on the action of an inch, maybe 2 inches of rain, getting through the middle of next week to close out the month of May on May 31st. So definitely some beneficial rains with the ongoing drought across this region. Well, if you like today's video so far, be sure to press the thumbs up button down below. It definitely helps out more than you know. And if you are new to the channel, be sure to press the subscribe button down below as well. It's free to do, and you get all of this daily weather forecast updates each and every morning at 9 a.m. Central Daylight Time on this channel. I cover southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics on this channel. So definitely be sure to subscribe down below. I definitely appreciate that as well. But going through the early portion and especially the middle portion of this week, we have a Rex blocking pattern starting to take shape, and this is a pattern that is very hard to break. So once we get into this pattern, it is going to be tough to break toward the middle of June. So we have a ridge and a high pressure system building over the top here into Canada and the northern United States. Underneath that, initially, we're going to have a double-barreled area of low pressure, one down here to the southwest, and then another one across the southern or southeastern United States underneath of that stronger ridge of high pressure up across the northern states. And you can see that pattern starting to emerge a little bit today. You see the ridge building across southern Canada and the northern United States with that double-barreled area of low pressure here, one across California, another one down here into the southern and southeastern United States. And that largely remains the case going into tomorrow on Memorial Day as well. So as such, our temperatures will be warming up with the ridge to the north, especially the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and New England will be warming up here in a great way as we go into today. Temperatures will be to the middle 80s. Definitely great weather to barbecue out here. Just watch out for the storms across the Great Plains. We'll warm up a little bit further for your Memorial Day as well. Watch out for the storms in the Great Plains again, but we will be into the middle 80s across the Midwest, parts of the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, and New England through your Memorial Day itself. Then as we go through the next few days afterwards, that ridge is going to hang tough across southeast Canada and the northern United States, with the troughing underneath that across the southwest, the southern and southeastern United States on Tuesday, and that really remains the case on Thursday. In fact, as we turn to the new month into Thursday on June 1st, that ridge across southern Canada and the northern United States will actually get a little bit stronger. So I do expect the heat wave to intensify, especially into the Mississippi Valley and the upper Midwest later on this upcoming week. So starting here on Tuesday, this is May 30th, temperatures will be creeping up into the upper 80s and low 90s. Places just west of Chicago and really west of the Lake Michigan shoreline there. That's where we're going to be seeing some real heat start to build, and that goes all the way south into the middle and lower Mississippi Valley on Tuesday. That will continue largely into Wednesday, May 31st. More of those 90s stretching up toward the Twin Cities region, southwest Wisconsin, northwest Illinois, eastern Iowa, those areas, especially with the drier conditions developing there. And that continues into Thursday with more of the heat spreading into New England as well, with some 90s in those areas getting in toward that Thursday, June 1st time frame. And that largely remains the case. Remember how I told you the Rex blocking pattern is going to be a pattern that will be tough to break going into the next couple of weeks. So we still see that With the Climate Prediction Center's update from the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from Friday, June 2nd, all the way through Tuesday, June 6th, warmer over the top with that ridge and cooler underneath across the southern and southeastern United States, especially down here into New Mexico, Texas, and Arizona as well, with much below average temperatures during that first week there into June. And that's exactly where the active weather pattern will reside. Lots of cloud cover, lots of rainfall, thunderstorms, possibly some severe weather as well. It will be very dry, though, in comparison to the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and Ohio Valley. We will start to develop a little bit more of that moderate drought conditions here, especially into southeast Iowa, central Illinois, getting into Indiana and Ohio. And you can see that with the latest Climate Prediction Center update, the rapid onset drought risk is real across southeastern Iowa, northeast Missouri, central Illinois down here, getting into central Indiana and southwestern Ohio through that June 9th timeframe. So that is the area of concern anywhere outlined in this orange shaded color or tan shaded color for that as we get through that second week there into June. Then things start to change. That pattern could break down a little bit toward that second week into June. This is around June 10th, give or so, give or take a day or two. We could have a stronger trough try to take over across the Great Lakes region with the ridge backing off to the west across western Canada and parts of the Pacific Northwest there. And that really remains the case going into the June 12th and 13th time frame as well. So as a result, with the trough, again, we will be seeing more of the active weather, still really not moving too much, still across the central and southern plains, a little bit more active weather across the Missouri Valley and the Tennessee Valley as well. Hopefully we can get some moisture a little further north into the Ohio Valley and parts of the Illinois Valley during that June 8th through the 14th time frame, as they will need the rainfall by then, and probably already do already. But hopefully we can see that. But right now the signs do point that will be just a little bit further down toward the south. And looking at instability trends, it looks like the most instability, the stronger instability for storms that could turn severe will be across the northern and central plains and parts of the lower Midwest during that first week there into June through June 7th. So as a result, my severe weather forecast from June 1st through the 7th does remain with possible severe weather from the Dakotas all the way south to Oklahoma and Texas as we go through that first week there into June. Then as we go into the second week in June and just before the Father's Day weekend time frame through June 14th, the instability will be strong, but it will be further south as we have that trough moving in. That's where the severe weather will be possible, still across the central southern plains and parts of the Arklatex as well. We may have to watch it into Arkansas, Louisiana, and western Mississippi during that June 8th through 14th time frame. Then as we go into Father's Day weekend, these are your temperature anomalies. There are signs in the long-range guidance that have a ridge of high pressure building back across much of the Mississippi Valley and really all of the eastern two-thirds of Canada and the United States, with more troughs moving in across the Pacific Northwest and the desert Southwest during that Father's Day weekend time frame. So as a result, with that ridge building, there is signs of just at least slightly below average precipitation underneath that ridge across the Midwest, getting into the Ohio Valley on southward. Upper Midwest, probably from around the North Dakota region, northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, and down through Michigan, we may have to be watching for what we call an MCS pattern, or a mesoscale convective system pattern, that develops with overnight complexes of storms through that Father's Day weekend time frame. I do, however, think that this model is way overdone with the moisture. Remember, we are drying out across the portions of the lower Midwest and into the Ohio Valley. So there's likely not going to be these 70-degree dew points in this area. So I think the model is a little bit overdone with this as well, and which also directly impacts the CAPE trends, convective available potential energy or instability for storms to form. I think it's also quite a bit overdone with it as well during this period. So basically a low confidence forecast as of right now. And again, we're still about 3 weeks out from this, but right now the experimental week 3 and 4 precipitation precipitation outlook from the Climate Prediction Center from June 10th through Father's Day weekend, and also going through June 23rd, points to below normal precipitation, a 50 to 55% chance of that becoming below normal precip across North Dakota, getting into Minnesota, Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan, and parts of Iowa and northwestern Illinois during that period. It has above average precipitation residing across the Rockies and the Intermountain West and parts of the Southeast, including Florida, during that Father's Day weekend time frame. But we do have to watch this. If any convection or thunderstorm activity can get going, the airflow around this high pressure system, if it does build with that ridge across the eastern two-thirds of the country toward the Father's Day weekend time frame, the airflow will be clockwise around the high pressure system, which could favor derecho potential, and that could be up here across portions of eastern Montana, North Dakota, getting through Minnesota, north Wisconsin, getting in toward the UP of Michigan, lower Michigan here, and down into the mid-Atlantic states as we go into that Father's Day weekend time frame. I will be updating this map daily, so we will be updating this over the next several days, but just know we'll have to watch this period for more severe weather migrating further north toward that Father's Day weekend time frame. Well, if you want additional weather forecast updates, including this channel and also this video, press the description down below and follow me on Twitter at hweather420. I definitely appreciate it. I always update on that platform very frequently. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching my video. As always, leave a thumbs up if down below the video if you did like it. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. Have a great Sunday, everybody, and have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all in the next video.